Yo, what is up? What is going on, everybody? I already see the chat popping off. It's been a while. We're back. Long, hectic week. For the trip was not easy that I took to Virginia, and neither was the work week. It's been hectic. How is everybody doing? Today's live stream is presented by Ambro Controls. If you guys didn't know, I think I mentioned this last time. If you guys didn't know, they are a lightweight brazing option. You guys can solder, braze with a what the hell? Kids blocking my award there. They offer a map gas and oxygen setup so you guys can braze. I personally braze from 1/4 inch all the way up to 7/8. No problems. You've seen me, if you guys watch any of my videos, you've seen me use this for like a year or so. And I've done scroll compressors on RTUs. I do a lot of light commercials. So, we do, like I said, 10 tons and under basically. And this thing is great. My whole thing, because I know people always talk about the price on the stuff that I use, but I've been doing this almost 20 years. I think I can afford now to pay for convenience, right? So anything and everything that is convenient will cost you an investment, some money here and there. So like for us, we're trying to outfit our guys, and we purchase a lot of it. I do work with Ambro. They did send me some stuff to try out, but I buy the oxygen refills. Like I tell them, go ahead and just buy the stuff that you need for your Ambro Control torch kit. It just makes it so much easier. And I want my guys to have that ease of use, as well as, even the new guys, which we can talk about that in a bit. They have it easy now. I mean, I remember dragging my torches across a rooftop, and a lot of brutal, sketchy rooftops. And, as long as, my company with the new guys and everybody that we have right now, they get all the new stuff. They get all the cool stuff. So they have thermal imagers. They have the Ambro Controls torches. They have some Hillmore leak detectors. They don't have to struggle. I don't want them to struggle. So like I said, there's a fee that we put into our business service calls, whether it's a torch fee, a brazing fee, whatever you guys want to call it, so that you can refill your tanks. Now, if you're doing oxyacetylene, your traditional set, you should still be charging something. We didn't charge when we started. And, that kind of hurt us. We didn't charge for oxygen acetylene refills. We didn't charge for the rods. Those things are getting super expensive now. So you need to build in fees for your tools and different things that you invest in. They will pay for themselves at the end of the day. So, we charge for everything now. There's a fee for everything. Some places do like a leak detector fee, whatever it is. Like if you have rates, you're going to build that into it. So I know I went off on a tangent, but this live stream is presented by Ambro Controls, and I just love using them. So if you charge right, you don't have to worry about the cost of a lot of these things. Press is another one. I came from the NIPCO facility where they do a lot of copper fittings. Like it's basically like them, Mueller. I'm sure there's others, but those are the ones that come to mind that are known for copper fittings and brazing or pressing. They have both. And if you're using couplings, even if they're not pressed, they cost quite a bit. That's why I don't use, if I'm brazing, I don't use any couplings. I'll use my bender, my tube expander, and I'll do my own. So even those are expensive, and I try to avoid using any kind of coupling. If it's press, it's because it's going to make it quicker, and the quote covered the cost of that, right? So as long as you charge, you're good to go. There's fees for everything. If you're not charging for everything, you're not going to do well in business. That's just, that's how it is. So we learned that, and we learned that the hard way. I'll be honest. We used to charge like 40, 45 an hour. We didn't charge much for parts or any fees or anything else. We got our foot in the door because everybody started calling us, but we didn't make a lot of money. So my dad was always afraid to raise prices. I finally convinced him to raise the prices, and we've been knocking it out of the park. Like, this year has been nuts for us, and we raised our prices like twice, made sure we charged for everything, and we hired people, and it's been a crazy year. What is up, everybody? Let me pull up my YouTube real quick. I do want to thank, of course, the channel members. I just want to shout them out real quick. I appreciate them for being members, and it helps. I'm gonna start doing something with stickers again, and it just helps with shipping. So I ship a lot of things out. So for very soon, I'm gonna try and get back into giveaways. It's just companies have been really weird this year. A lot of my sponsors, I can probably get a few of them to do something, but companies have just been really weird. I want to do more giveaways again to give you guys some cool tools, help you guys out here and there. And the members, watching and subscribing and liking the videos on my channel helps tremendously, because obviously YouTube pays for views. But YouTube members, if you guys buy anything with my tool links, buy any merchandise, t-shirts, I'm going to add some at the end of the year again to kind of redo that. But all of that helps with these kinds of things, because I do have things that I want to give away that are in my garage, but I gotta cover the cost of shipping, things like that. And that's just what helps. I do want to thank those members. Like I said, Gary Carnell, D Tolls, Mark Morales. I just saw your comment over on the Reliable Tech channel. I'm doing the tech channel again. B1062, Darwin Hooks, True Results, HTX Brian, Chevy Runner 88, Rage Metal Freak, Lost But One, Vlazer, Phil Hall. Appreciate you guys for being channel members. Now let me get to the chat. What is up? How's everybody's work week going? I worked yesterday on Saturday. Got back late Tuesday, like 10 o'clock at night. Wednesday, I had so many calls to get to, and I'm still behind on maintenance, which is gonna this month is gonna be a struggle. And we're sending out a quote right now for another place that has 15, actually 19, because I'm not counting the little counter ones, but we have with those we have 19 refrigeration equipment. That's just coolers and freezers. He wants maintenance on everything. I was like, I don't have to sell you maintenance. If you want a quote, we'll give you a quote, and we're working on that right now. And then he was inquiring about ice machine maintenance, and then some dishwashers that he needed checked. So again, business has just been crazy. I didn't even go looking for work. I was literally eating at this restaurant. The guy stopped us, or stopped me, and he's like, hey, I noticed that you do HVAC. Took a picture of the van, which is why I always say your van needs to be wrapped or lettered at some point right away. Like, you need to do that. That's one of the first things that you should do, because it draws attention. And then I've been trying to figure out the best way to brand the t-shirts, because I used to do our uniforms just for fun. And I even had the little saying on the back, I'm here because you broke something, funny stuff like that. And I was like, I need to go back to simplifying it and making it like our website, our name really big, making sure they have the logo that they're going to see if they Google us, all that kind of stuff. So our t-shirts, I just got them. I just handed them out last week. So they have our website now that we direct them there. We have a jobber form that, takes care of any customers that want to fill that out, and we can get back to them, or they can call our AI answering service, which I'll get into with some content here and there. I'll do some videos on that kind of stuff. just to help us take calls, because we get a lot of nuisance calls, and I just want the ones that either are local or that leave a message like, hey, I really need service. Can you come out? So yeah, a lot of changes. And like I said, if you have your van wrapped or just lettered, just your name, big logo, and whatever you want to direct them to, which is a number or a website or social media. You can use social media now for your business and just have your before and after photos, the maintenance, like you working on a job site or maintenance or whatever it is that you do that you can offer. Record a little clip and put it on your social media, get some traction there, and then you can show that off to your customer or your website. Have your social media on your website. I'm doing that too. They can see my YouTube channel and see the work that I do. And that's, just them looking us up, doing a Google search. So this guy saw the van, saw me in uniform, asked me if we could, service. And I said, yeah, we do everything. So I think we're sending out that quote today, and hopefully he bites on it. And I'm doing it super cheap because it's more work for the guys. It's our foot in the door. And from there, we can offer other maintenance. I think we're going to need a whole maintenance department at this point just to keep up with the hospitals that we do monthly. The two that I do personally that I'm always at are 6 months, every 6 months, and they alternate. So 1 month is this one, the next month is this one. And they've added ice machines and other things to it. So it's like every month now we have somebody's maintenance that comes up, and it's just a good way to keep everybody busy. So that's been my week. It's been crazy. What is up? I'm trying to look through the chat. Some of it might have cut off for me, so I can't see everything. But I see Modern. I see Victor. Let's see. Let me resize these. Anything good planned for the week? I have a couple change outs for this guy's place. One attic, one basement. Should be nice. Yeah, I mean, I explained mine. I hope everybody else has a lot of work. It hasn't slowed down. It's just, me and my dad were just talking about this. It is so crazy, the growth that we've had. And I want to say it's been over a few years, but like from last year to this year, and this year's not even over. It's been nuts. And we have a lot of things going on behind the scenes, business stuff, we've joked about him retiring. Like that, there's a lot of good things happening right now where I hope we can continue the momentum and get more new guys in, get more of them trained. I can kind of, teach, do a little more teaching, but still do some service. I usually do the hard calls. So, that's what we got going on. Ready for fall. Maintenance has been like my whole year. We do so much of it now. Yeah, we have a good one planned. It was actually Jake's birthday a couple days ago, if you guys didn't know. Or Sunday, right? Yeah. And then we're gonna just have a nice birthday bash. HVAC nights this week. So we are gonna make it this week for Thursday evening at on the HVAC nights channel. I wasn't available, so then I couldn't. I have to set it up, so we couldn't do it. So next week or this coming week, we have it planned out. It's going to be a very good one. I can assure you that. And we're going to hang out this Thursday on HVAC night. So check it out. That little tour was so cool. We did the NIPCO tour for, or in their Virginia facility, which is like their copper facility. So I didn't even know they had one here where I live. but it's where they do the brass stuff. So the brass stuff is here. They actually have one right across the border in Mexico, another facility here. So there's two here that I know of. And then I got asked or invited to go to the Virginia one because it's a copper site. I was the only HVAC guy there, so I got to talk to them about like the press fittings. The tour is, I have footage, but we had to wear headsets. It was so loud in there. So the only way we could communicate and hear the actual information was through our headsets. So we kind of just took footage. I'm going to work on something very soon to where I can get you guys some information and we can talk to NIPCO directly about a few things. I'm very interested in their press tool and fittings. I think it's relatively new. I don't know how new it is. And all of their copper stuff is made in USA. So like those that we went to, and they don't even brand it. We were telling them you should really stamp that on the bag, like a little bit bigger, like made in USA, right? Because it's in Virginia. They make all the couplings there. That was the location where they filmed one of my favorite shows, because I've mentioned it a few times on the podcast. How It's Made. I used to watch that show all the time when it was on TV, just to see how they make different candies, how they make different products, facilities like that, where it's like metal or copper or any manufacturing. I really like that show. And he's like, did you know that they actually filmed one here? And I was like, I don't remember. And I had to look for it. And it was, I don't know, 8 years ago that it was uploaded to YouTube. So it could be older. I was like, that's really cool. So they actually filmed a TV show there, and we got to go. We got to see the same thing. And I want to talk to them about their press fittings, because I posted a picture. I'll post it on YouTube very soon. I'll try and do it after the show. The fittings don't look any different from like regular copper fittings. And from what I understand, since they make their own copper fittings, right? They make the ones that you would braze. So if you go to the supply house and you get some couplings for your job, they make those exact couplings, and all they do is put the groove in the middle of the bell or the swage. All they do is make a groove in there to put an O-ring on it, and then they add these little ridges, which I think they explained it to me really quickly. I wasn't sure if I got it correctly, but I think the little ridges are to help when it gets pressed to make that bond. So it has the O-ring and it has the ridges, but it is the same exact fitting whether it's brazed or pressed. It's just that they do that extra groove and O-ring. And I was like, okay, cool. This is the same. They're the same size. I use RLS, and the reason I won't use them more is because I don't have room. Because if you look at, it is ridiculous. If you look at the elbows side by side, the RLS one is like almost, I want to say 3 times like longer, like the diameter, the radius, all that you put into or you take into account for putting it in. And I mostly do walk-in boxes where I use press fittings. So if it's too close, if I don't have clearance, then I got to braze. But if these are the exact same as a regular coupling and they work well and I can test them, I'm going to test them here. I have them already. Then that's really cool, and I know some guys are going to be like, but the longer radius, the longer elbow is actually better for flow or whatever it is. But if you're not pressing, you're most likely are going to use a regular coupling, and at that point they're identical. So it is a hard 90. I know some people don't like that, but it's cool to have an option, and I'll have to look through the fittings to see what kinds, if they offer different sizes and things like that, but it's really cool. So we got to see all that. Nobody's been podcasting. Yeah, where they make the copper. That's where I was. Press fittings are okay. they asked me like how I use them, like how often and what's my decision in using them. So like I said, if it's a walk-in box and I can press in the evaporator, I do that almost every time, especially if it's pre-existing. I'm using the same pipe or line set, and I have the guys help me remove the old one. They lift and mount the new one, and then I usually go into braze, pressure test, and commission it, like start it up. And for me, pressing takes a lot of the headaches out of it because I don't have to worry about toasting up a valve. I don't have to worry about the tight space, and sometimes sometimes brazing just doesn't go right. And that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about since we're doing this series from Ambro Controls. Sometimes brazing just doesn't go right. Like you do all the right things, you prep it, you do everything that you need to, and for some reason, and I will do some videos on brazing very soon, but for some reason, especially like in a walk-in, maybe it's a little colder in there, you're not able to get the heat where you want it, exactly, and it just doesn't want to wrap around perfectly. Or pre-existing line sets, you got oil that burns off at some point, and then boom, or nitrogen or whatever. Something could happen to where you might have a pinhole leak, or it doesn't wrap around properly because you're not able to move that torch in the right direction that you want to. You're not able to fit that torch where you want perfectly. You're having to fight against gravity. You're having to fight against maybe the flame. You're relying on it to wrap around, which with enough experience and practice, like you can get better at it. But every now and then I run into it too, where it just doesn't want to run properly, and then you just take a little bit longer. Like you'll get it eventually, but it takes a little bit longer. So in those instances where I just don't want that headache, I will press. Brazing is still more than half of my jobs. 70% of my jobs is brazing. So it doesn't take over. It's less headaches because I do all the work. Now this year, I'm trying to step back a little bit. I want to teach the guys that we have how to braze the way I braze, how to do it, very well, and don't panic, and doing dissimilar metals, because the other week I had to do one because our techs were not comfortable doing it. I was like, okay, I'll do it. I just want to get them up to par to be comfortable, but I want to have the option of press because it is super simple. I've had some where I wish I had a press tool in an attic space, and like in a drop ceiling. Like you have to get over on top of the walk-in box, move over ceiling tiles, crawl over to the walk-in box to get on top of it, and you have the line sets running from the evaporator, the walk-in box, through the drop ceiling, and then it goes out to the roof. And the thing is, a lot of people don't insulate them properly when they install them, or there's a piece missing, or it rubs up against the roof going out because there might be a couple of layers with the metal roof. Something where you get like a pinhole rub out leak. And to take torches in that area because it's dusty, it's dirty, it's dark, you got piping everywhere. Then now you have all the electronics, like the networking, so they're running cables everywhere. I don't like being in those drop ceilings, and they're not like what they used to be. It used to be a little more open space. And I've even had one, I don't even know how the hell they did this, but they used it as storage. So I went up there and there's signs and pieces of chairs and like all this stuff that they were throwing on top of the walk-in box. Mind you, the ceiling tiles, the drop ceiling is all around it. I don't know, like they were actually having to move over the tiles and throw shit up there. So that I've had to climb over crap like that, and to drag I mean, you can do the nitrogen from the bottom, but to drag a torch kit up there, because sometimes you got to go pretty far. Unless you're lucky and it's close by, you can have somebody hold it at the ladder. If you're working with somebody, if you're working alone, you're screwed. To get your torches over there, cut the line and make your patch repair. When I could just take a tool with me, and we've seen Jake did that in his video. I think that got quite a bit of views because everybody was. It's a press video. It gets views. To where he took, and I think he was putting a new unit in or something like that. Like he had to press the 2 lines in. All he had to do was or it was a dryer, right? All he had to do was take the dryer, which was press specific. They have dryers with extra long copper on it. That way you can press them directly. And you just take the tool. He took the dryer, and you take whatever size you need. Take a couple of couplings in your pocket. And that's an easy repair. You just cut it out, press it in, and you're good. I've had good luck. I've only used RLS, so I will be interested in testing NIPCO because I do have the NIPCO. Most of the stuff already came in. I will be trying it out. I've had no issues with them being inside the cooler and freezers. I do have freezers with press fittings. Those O-rings have not messed up whatsoever from it icing over and defrosting and all that throughout the day. So there's just instances where I wish I would have had it, and it's never going to take it over. Like I would never feel comfortable pressing or cutting the bells off of the service valves to press. And then you're screwed if it leaks, right? I'd rather have that press fitting very far away from, or like half a foot to a foot away from any valve or anything like that, so that I can obviously cut it out and change it if it leaks. So that's one thing I would never do, and I would never put them on compressors. Compressors get way too hot. You're going to get a leak eventually. So personally, never cut the bell and put it up against the service valve, and never want to put it on a compressor, or in my opinion, not even on a discharge line. I'll personally never do that. All that's braze every time. But if it's on the suction line, on the liquid line, a piece in the middle of the system somewhere that rubbed out, I think that's a good spot for press. What's up, Rudy? Mike. Kitchen Cowboy, what's up? Red Sox need to win. I don't watch baseball. I'm a big basketball fan. I can't wait for the NBA season to start. A lot of good stuff. I do want to talk about. I do want to talk about some basketball, but we'll wait till Thursday when we can talk sports with Jake. Nice to see you too, Mike. What is up? Ambro swag. I'll reach out. Let's see if they'll do a giveaway, and we can maybe get some something from them, right? Hats or shirts or something. Was it them? Oh no, somebody else is doing swag. I think it's Lucas Millhop, however you say that. The other brazing rods. Let's see. Forma cold doors. Let's see. Yep, miscellaneous fees always. Wire nuts, couplings, like even PVC couplings. If you use one, write something. Like I don't care if it's $1 or $10. Write something. Make sure you get paid for it. Recovery, vacuum, torch, and nitrogen fee. All right, I'm going to go back or down to the chat real quick. Swag Central, AHR. Yep. You have the field piece valve or VCRT with the sight glass still in the box. I need to do a test on my different ones because now I have a few different models or brands, and I want to know which one is the best one. And I do have a couple of micron gauges, like which one is accurate or more accurate. So I need to do some testing because I want to make sure that I have a good setup. I feel like I've had some issues here and there, and I feel like it's usually, I mean, it could be a loose hose, the valves or something, but yeah. But I feel like I've had some weird, I guess, leaks, but it sometimes it's in your own setup. I have a ton, and I probably lost them actually. I was gonna say I have a ton of videos that I need to post. I don't even know if they're still on my drive. Nope. Damn. Yeah, damn. I'm gonna have to redo some videos. I had some videos for like O-rings, checking your O-rings on your VCRTs, your hoses, checking your vacuum pump oil. And I think I don't think I have those anymore because of the damn hard drive that messed up. We need some press-friendly service tees to add pressure switches. So like you're talking about ones with the port already on them, right? They sent me over some press tees, but they're just tees. I've never had to buy tees, so like open tees. But I'm assuming you're talking about like one with a port on it. I want to make a list of things that they should do because I had already had a couple of ideas that if NIPCO can offer, I would think it would kind of put them ahead of a few other companies. So, and it is a full circular press. That is my, what do you call that? That's what I look for in a press tool. That's why I didn't get the Zoom Lock ones because it is, and I'll have to do my research again because I feel like I've heard different things, but it is technically a hex press. I just don't remember what Zoom Lock does to make the bond because I've looked into a few different ones, but like I just want a full circular press. That's why I went with RLS, and it is a soft copper one. I need to look at NIPCO. I think it's a hard copper, but they do something, like I said, with those ridges inside that makes it bond and make the seal that it should. So I'll talk to them. There's a few things that I want to see personally from a press tool company, and if they can, I mean, they make their own stuff, so if they can do it, it'd be great. I had my field piece probes for over a year. It only started using it a couple months ago. I am probably, my brother really loves using like gauges. We'll see when he grows out of it. Now, granted, he does more maintenance and he does, calls here and there. I typically take the brunt of the hard calls, but I was like, if you really like the gauges, I have S-Mans that I haven't touched in a year, maybe probably going on 2, maybe a year and a half. I can't go back to a manifold. And the reason I was using them before was to do a startup, because I would hook it up. I would hook it up to my scale, see the weight on the gauges, hook my clamps up, get all my readings, and get the unit up and going when we do a change out or a new system. And then the other reason I would use a manifold is to pull a vacuum on a refrigeration, like cooler or freezer in a kitchen, like a really small one. But I don't know. I think I'm just going to go straight to the vacuum pump or recovery machine without anything, like just hoses with some valves or VCRTs straight to whatever you're using. And then just, probes for everything else. I hook up probes and I do all my checks with the probes, and I would recommend probes for most people. I have been seeing, I'll have to bring this up on Thursday. Somebody did ask me about Hvac recently. I love Hvac. I use Hvac power bender, power tube expander. Our guys use their vacuum pumps. So we still use Hvac. But somebody had asked me about them, right? And I was like, I don't think they really appreciate the reviews I've done. But I started noticing that others are starting to have issues with the flex manifold, the nice, pretty display gauges, whatever you want to call them. I'm still waiting on an update for the probes. So I'm not sure if they fixed everything with the probes. I think they did finally get their app to work. I don't know if it's been updated like publicly, but I've seen some other guys talk about the gauges like, my brother didn't want them, so we gave them to the new guys. And my brother was like, it's just a display. What do I need that for? So he prefers the S-Mans. So I don't know. I would say probes all the way. I would love to see if they can fix the Hvac probes, because those were going to be really nice. They were just a little bit big, but they were going to be really nice for the information you got on the probe itself. And I have people ask me, like, why would you need a display? You're using your phone. My phone is constantly ringing, constantly overheating. It'd be nice just to have a quick glance and see the pressures, right? Or the temperatures. I use my clamps and psychrometers, and I like them if they have a display. You have the Milwaukee press and RLS fittings. There's like I don't even use them every month, but they're there when I need them. That's just me. I do a lot of service work, right? A lot of it's electrical. If it's a compressor, I'm not using it. Compressors give out here and there. It's not a heavy use for me, but it's there. I use it a lot on changeouts, I will say. Yeah. If outdoor units came with the long stub, I would press all day. That's a difficult part. Because there's been a couple times where I would have used press, but if I'm already brazing, then the whole thing is going to get brazed in, right? There's no sense into bringing the torches down and the press tool as well, like to be changing out for different sections of the unit. So yeah, if it's, but on a walk-in box, I do, because the evaporator's downstairs, we press it in, get done with it, and then move on to the rooftop where I have to take my torches up to and press, braze up there. But yeah, if they made it easier, which I think they are going to do that, because I understand and you guys understand that the A2L is not a big deal. It's not a huge difference. Flammability is just slightly more, but with the way they're marketing, with the way they're warning people and putting these warning stickers over everything, this is where press is going to end up being, it's going to help somebody out, especially if you guys do any hospital work, any construction places, or I know guys that do some really crazy builds where they have huge buildings and they got to get all these systems in, and the fire watch or the permit is what kills them, right? They gotta have a fire watch for a ridiculous amount of time, because they don't want any ambers or anything to catch fire, a couple hours later. So they do have to watch those things well after they're done with it. They still have to be there, make sure nothing catches on fire. Hospitals don't like you to have an open flame. Some places just tell you straight up no, and they expect you to press. So that's where it's helpful. And I do hospital work, so we do have that just in case. But yeah, A2Ls and A3s is where it's like, oh, you might want to look into pressing. Press long line sets and ice machine drains. That's cool. There was we do hotels as well. And that's the other thing. I forgot. I heard it somewhere that they also use press for insurance, liability, things like that, right? There's other things that you have to take into account, especially if you run your own business, that, maybe one option is better than the other. So I went into the hotel, like their mechanical room, because our guys were working on the walk-ins. They have the condensers in there, which they're going to relocate them. We were told yes, and then we lost the bid because somebody was like, what did they charge? And they told them, and they're like, oh, we can do it for $1,000 or $1,500 less. And I was like, screw that. Let them do it. I'm not losing money on this. So they're going to relocate them outside, but the guys were working on them. And I noticed they had a water leak. Like a plumber came in and fixed it, but I don't know if I have pictures. If I do, I'll bring them up on Thursday on HVAC nights. There is like press fitting after press fitting after press fitting, just there to, I guess they were cut it up and they had to put it back together with all the press fittings that they had. But it worked. I mean, there's no more leak, and it's a big system. Could have been like 3-inch pipe or something, 2 to 3-inch pipe, and they pressed all of it. And I mean, they have the tools for it. They can charge what they want for it, and it's probably super quick and convenient. Because I can imagine trying to solder that would have been a pain. And it ran, it went down, it went under something, it went over. So it was a long line set there for water. Yeah, because people keep asking for it, and like I said, it's gonna be because of the A2Ls and A3s that they're gonna start doing that. Press is awesome for VRF. Not sold on press fitting. So like, again, I think the main thing is the price. And if you're just starting out, if you're a technician that has to buy your own tools, it makes no sense. I can tell you that right now. If you're a business owner, if you're a business and you are making a lot of money, and we are right now, like my dad is not batting an eye for anything. Now, we don't like to spend a lot, so I still have to think about tools that we buy, but I want the guys to have everything that they need. I want everything that I need, and it takes me a while to convince myself to buy something, right? But if you're making, quite a bit every month, the tool itself, I don't know the price right now because it's been a while since I shopped for one, but it was like, I think it was less than $7,000. It was like $5,000, something like that. I'm submitting work orders for several $1,000s. I just submitted our hospital statement, and it was like $15,000. Like there's money coming in, and you're gonna invest some of it. You're not buying this every month. You're buying it 1 month. One time out of the year, you're gonna buy this. Another time, you're gonna buy something else. You're gonna work on your truck. You're gonna get a wrap. You're gonna get uniforms. Like there's always money to spend, and I get it, but if it's 5,000 or whatever the initial investment is, you're going to make that relatively quickly. And then you're going to charge for it, so it's eventually going to pay for itself. That's just the way I look at it. So again, if you're just starting out, if you don't do like a ton of work, you're super small business, one-man show, maybe it's not reasonable to buy. Or if you're a technician that works somewhere that has to buy your own tools, doesn't make any sense. But if you are doing really well, that's when you want, that's always what my dad was saying. If we're doing really well 1 month, 2 months, and it's been kind of steady, that's when you kind of want to invest in something and then let it make, the money back after that. So there's been times where we're like, okay, now we can invest because we're making good money. And then we buy something expensive, and then, we wait a little bit, and then we invest again. So that's just the way we look at it. But that's the only part that I can see. If you're talking about the fittings, like the price on the fittings, the customer pays for it. And I do commercial, residential, it's iffy, but like most times, if you use, like for me, if I use 4 fittings, they cost me $10 to $15 each, right? Cost me $50 for the set that I used. I could just charge a customer $50 more and it's covered. I could charge them $100 more and make money on it, or whatever the markup is. They're not, I'm doing a change out. I'm doing something that I see I can do the press, or I do like I was talking about earlier, like a leak, a rub out, cut it out, press in the new one. That's only 2 fittings, right? Or 1 fitting if you have slack. They're not going to bat an eye for an extra $50 or whatever it is, $60, $70 on top of the bill that's like $200, $300, let alone a change out that's several $1,000s, and they see an extra $50, $60 on there. They're not going to question that part, right? So I think people blow it out of proportion, and as far as I know, nobody's going to complain for the cost of a fitting. I don't know, in my opinion. But if you're not sold on it as far as longevity, I have several in walk-in freezers that have not leaked. They've been in there for like 2 years, no issues. My go-to show on Saturdays, how it's made. There you go. That's one of my favorites. Let's see, what did I miss? Press isn't helping anything. You do understand that leaks are, when it matters, it's all contained. Something is worse. Let's see. 2 years. I don't know. What's the complaint there? Like, yeah, I put it in 2 years ago. It's still working. So if I see, here's my point. Here's my thing. I'm saying 2 years because that's how long I've used it. Now, if I had this 15 years ago, then I would be telling you maybe 15 years it's still working. Here's the thing. Equipment nowadays, how long does it last? Because I can tell you, and I live by the coast, about an hour away. Now, not everything rusts out. You have to be like right on the coast for that to happen. But people are changing out equipment 15, 20 years. That's the most that they get out of it. I can tell you that I'm pretty sure the fitting will outlast the system. And that's 2 years in a freezer. I keep trying to emphasize it's been in a freezer where it's constantly icing over, 0 degrees or under, defrosting where it warms up, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'm doing the suction line and the liquid line. So to me, that's a harsh environment where it would have failed instantly if it wasn't going to work. So again, and I think you run your own business, if I'm not mistaken. Again, what do you value, and what do you? It's all up to you. So I've had plenty of guys that I talk to that are old school. Okay, if you want to use that, it lasted a very long time with no issue defense. But again, that's again to my point. They don't make them like they used to. So I've had systems, and we have an R22 system here that I'm not going to mess with because it's working fine. The thing is, like, they don't make them like they used to. That's the argument for the system itself. Like, you're saying it lasts a long time, ripped out a system that were fine for 100 years or more. Society and government told them they needed to change it. So the systems used to last a lot longer. I've worked on stuff that is super old, and the only reason I would change it out is because it's rusting out. Like the panels or the foundation of the system is rusting out or going out or something on it. It's never on the older ones, right? On the ones that are like 20, 30, 40 years old. It's never the refrigeration system itself, not unless it's in a harsh environment. The copper is usually still fine. I have systems that I tell them, hey, I can patch up a leak here. It's R22 or 410 is on that 20-year cycle now too. And I'm like, I can patch it and you'll be fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, the systems are built like tanks. But nowadays, we just put in, and again, it's all regional too, man. Wherever you're at is not the same as where I'm at. I'm in Texas. I'm by the coast. So over by the beach, I had to do a double take. Like, what? They're getting new systems. We just put them in a few years ago, but they're by the beach, and they did not take my recommendation to let us coil coat them. Somebody else did. They coated the minimum, so the coil and the filter dryer. The compressor was ready to fall through the bottom of it because everything else rusted out. So Again, every region's different, every situation is different, and everybody's opinions are different. Everybody's personal situation, work environment, it's all different. So I think the systems last a long time from back then. I feel like now they're changed out. It also has to do with pricing. If it's because we've talked about like replacing parts, being a parts changer, things like that. But is it worth fixing something mechanically when you can just put in a new like motor or compressor or whatever it is I gave out, versus like trying to fix something? And I sometimes I do like whole assemblies, like a blower assembly, because it's better just to replace the whole thing instead of trying to take it apart, fight with it, and waste a lot of labor. So those are the outside factors: time, convenience, and just making sure you do the work right. It'll last. What's up, Jason? Yeah, I've been. So here's the thing, Seaton. I'm not sure how you say your name. It makes more sense in commercial as well. I do commercial strictly. I don't do residential, so I can't tell you on the residential side. Firewatch, hospitals, they're not going to want you to do. I had a Pat Finley, right? A buddy of ours. He was trying to do a warranty call, and I don't remember if it was a hospital. It had to be something important, and they told him, you better not use a flame. There's no flame allowed. The procedures to do that is ridiculous. Like, it's just going to take forever to even approve it or to get it done. So he denied. He's like, I can't do anything for you. The next company came in, pressed it in. He's like, this was a warranty call. We can press. If I would have known we could press, I would have done it myself. So there's different situations: fire control, fire watch, permits, things like that. So it works. If it didn't work, I'd be eating my words. I would tell you, hey, they all leaked. Never going to use it again, but they haven't. They've been working fine. I'm a parts changer. Let's see. What is up, Brian? Replaced 300 systems I initially installed. That didn't happen the generation before me. I think that's to my point, right? They don't make them like they used to. Who is young? How old are you, dude? Because I might be up there with you. If you're not familiar with me, I've been doing this almost 20 years. Modern. Let's see. I have no idea who this guy is too young to understand. If that's towards me, I'm going to take that as a compliment, but maybe he's talking about somebody else. Mega press is way better than threading black steel pipe. And see, that's where they're going to say like the skills are gone, or, this and that. But see, here's my other thing. And this is a totally different topic, but it kind of interjects with this kind of thinking. It's like, because I get crap a lot. We'll see if he says anything else. I don't know how old I look, dude. I'm almost 40. I've been doing this since I was 20, and actually running a business because my dad didn't know anything about the business side. Oh, he has talked. Yeah, I didn't know. So I've been doing this about 19 years now on my own. And my dad does not do HVAC, so we can't even pull that card of like your dad did it. My dad doesn't do HVAC. He was an electrician, got into food service, totally different trade. I got in, had to learn how to sink or swim basically, and we've been here almost 20 years, so there's a testament to that. But my whole thing is people that are like, oh, it's a lost skill, making it too easy, it's not the same. Nothing is the same. You have to keep up with technology. You have to keep up with everything. You have to make it easier on yourself. Now, if you look at the older generation, and I have a grandfather that was auto mechanic, that my dad was an electrician. How are they when they're older? Their bodies, this and that. I'm getting up there. I'm feeling it just from being on rooftops. So I'm on rooftops all the time. Again, I do strictly commercial. So I don't want to say it's worse or, whatever. It's just different, right? Versus residential. Getting up and down a ladder, climbing on sketchy roofs, things like that. Pulling up my torches, pulling up that compressor over the edge of a rooftop. It's not easy. But if I can make things easier, that's how I think. So my dad started the business and I got into it, and I got into this great trade. I love fixing stuff. I love doing things for this trade and the customers that we get and all that, right? Like I love that part of it. I love the satisfaction of fixing something just because I know that I can fix it. And I've gone behind companies that can't figure it out. I figure it out. It makes me feel really good. I love all that stuff. But the whole point from generation to generation is to make it easier for your kids. So again, this is off topic a little bit, but it kind of goes into the skill part of it. The skills are there. You need the skills or you're going to be outed. You're not going to make it as easy as we can make it for the next generation. It's just going to break you mentally, physically, no way around it. You can just soften the blow here by having nice tools, fancy tools, electronic tools, battery power tools, whatever it is. So when I hear that, hey, it's a good conversation, Freon. It's a good conversation. This is getting into some other stuff, and then we can get kind of a wrap up here. So, my dad started a business, and I've heard that, oh, you're the son's owner, this and that. I have it easier because of him. Like, there's no way around it. There's no way around it, right? Like, he made it easier for me. He busted his ass for everything. And now I have kids. And I've already said, whenever they're ready, they have a job with me. I don't care what I have them doing, whether it's in the field, behind a desk. I have a job for them. This is my business now. I have a job for them. They're going to have it easier, for sure. There's no way around it. They're going to have it easier. That is the whole goal. I think generation to generation, whether it's your family or in the trades, whatever it is, you're making it easier for the next generation. Obviously, you want them to learn the right way. You want them to work for it, be driven. You want all these things, right? And you can instill that in them. You can teach them all these things. You can show them the way and everything. But at the end of the day, if my dad made it easier for me, I think he feels accomplished, and that's what he was supposed to do. If I make it easier for my kids, if I get them into the trades and they coast, I did my job. I'm a father. That's kind of what I did there, and I'm doing it now with people that we train. I mentioned earlier in the podcast or in the live stream, they all have thermal imagers. I never had one when I started. They all have the new torch sets that we were talking about, Ambro Controls. I didn't have that. I was lugging around heavy torches everywhere. We have a press tool. We have a couple now that we can loan out to them if they ever need it. I never had a press tool up until a couple years ago. Power tools. Everybody has Milwaukee now. I'm able to provide them, power tools and drills. We provide all that stuff. So like, I'm trying to train them to be like me, to do things the right way, or to do things, however you want to go about it. Like, fix it, go through the right procedure, make sure you fix it right the first time, no callbacks, make the customer happy. Like, that's what I'm trying to instill in them. But I'm giving them the tools to succeed quicker than I did, just because that's what I want. I do it for social media. I help anybody that wants to help or be helped. A lot of guys don't like me for it. It is what it is. I like to make it easier for the next person. Sad thing is this internet. I have a daughter that's 24, started in the trade of October 1994. Not throwing my experience in your face. The new way of installing is garbage. My kids are 12 and 10, so still got a long way to go. New way of installing is garbage. You're not wrong there. Again, it's all about pride and making sure you take the time to do the right things, because I mentioned earlier, I go around behind a lot of companies. I get outbid. That's just the name of the game. You're going to lose to people that are cheaper. You're going to lose to a buddy of somebody's. You're going to lose a lot. And we've talked about it on here. We've talked about it on nights. When I lose a bid and I go back to that job and I do a service call and I see the install that the other company did, it hurts my eyes to see it. The wiring is all crappy. The drain line's never redone. The disconnects reused from the old one. It could be bad. The disconnects are bypassed, but that's what the customer wanted. That's what they paid for. And that's the name of the game. So yeah, I see it all the time. Bad installs, duct work that is not installed correctly. It's everywhere. So if you take the pride in doing it, you can only control what you can control. So I will go back and do the service, because I'll have a bid that I lose. Customer gets the worst install ever, and then they call me back like, hey, can you fix what the other guy did? I don't want to, but I'll do it, right? So it just happens. So installs, and to me, the thing there is it's not a generational thing. It is not because it's too easy for kids nowadays. It's not that. It's the pride. It's the drive. Because I can tell you, like I said, I've been doing this almost 20 years. I worked with guys that did not give a shit, and they were doing things the wrong way. And me being the new guy, the young kid at the time, I was wrong, or I couldn't say anything because then I would get yelled at, right? But I would watch them doing the install or the service the wrong way, screwing over the customer. So you can't tell me it's a generational thing. It's just that's a lazy tech thing, a lazy installer thing. And we need to get, whoever we're training, you mentioned you're a trainer now, right? You're a trainer by heart. You can only control what you can control. teach the guys that come under you, teach your workers, teach your employees, um, teach through, I think you have a YouTube channel, right? Teach through your videos, teach whatever you can. So I've been burned before by people that just don't like what I do on social media, but I'm still here. I still post. I still share what I can, my experience, which again is my own experience. The only thing you can control is if you teach somebody. So like we have apprentices right now. I'm trying to teach them. I'm like, don't pick up these bad habits. Like, do it the right way the first time, and you'll thank me for it later. And as your boss, I don't want to call back, right? So it's not a generational thing, man. It's a laziness thing. All right, guys. All right. Look, we both have kids. I hate the internet. I absolutely hate the internet. Um, you have to talk with your kids a lot about what they see. Um, it's everywhere. As kids, personally, as a kid growing up, we were always outside, right? Like you play sports, you tinker with things. It's a different world nowadays. Just because you did something for a long time doesn't mean you did things right for a long time. And I'll admit, I didn't know everything when I started. I had the benefit of going to trade school, so I could call out if they were doing things the wrong way. But cutting corners, doing things to get out at a decent time, to move on to the next call. That's usually what that is, right? When they cut corners. And I could call them out on things, but again, if you're the new guy, you have no pull. You can't do anything about it. They have to, or you have to do what they say. And then, again, just I used to work with some lazy techs. You remind me of a lot of apprentices I had. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Good chat format. You know tech better than me. Takes a good amount of time to learn this trade. Best way is only to make a mistake only once, right? I always tell guys that. I was like, the mistake is how you learn. The mistake is something you'll never forget. I'll never forget when I've burned a board or added the wrong refrigerant to something, because I didn't know any better. Never forget that. As long as you don't do it again, that's the main takeaway. Understand static pressure and airflow. We are air conditioning guys, but go straight to the unit with gauges. Airflow. Without airflow, you can't deliver BTU. That was another thing I had to teach some of the new guys. We went. Well, what were we checking? They've been doing a lot of AC calls, so we get there and I'm like, they're like, oh, the compressor does this, the unit's cooling, but it's hot inside and this and that. Okay, don't condemn anything, right? Don't condemn a compressor. Don't say, oh, it needs charge. None of that. Let's go look at the vents. Let's go look at the duct work. Let's go into drop ceiling, right? Oh, okay. There's duct leakage. We found weird stuff, which I'll post about this soon I had to dig through for the footage for like the duct that we've seen lately. Everything's been falling apart. Um, every now and then I'll have one. I'm like, man, what's going on with it? Let's go check the duct. Return is completely torn apart, or it's missing something, right? It's not sealed properly, or they didn't use any of the mastic, which I don't even carry that because I don't normally do duct work. And the strap came off, but you know, little things like that. You need to look at the airflow. Oh, this is fun. Gonna hang out with the family. All right. Um, HVAC is the best trade, and it isn't even close. I'll agree with you on that. Anybody wants some one-on-one training on my own dime? Here for you. So, like I said, I think he has a YouTube channel. Continue teaching. I think that's all. That's what we or the next techs need. We need them everywhere, right? Don't even. I don't want to make this twice as long because I was going to say like supply houses. When the counter guys are techs, that's great. When it's the new kids, it's like, oh man, you know, they're not helping. Ice machines fix themselves. Ooh, you said you're from Houston, right? I saw your comment earlier. I know I went off on a tangent here. Anyway, Tech Pack MC or a regular Tech Pack. Personally, I like to make it compact unless you really need that outside pouch because it has that extra outside storage on it. I like the MC. Super small backpack. Fits everything that I would need. I just recently switched over to the Wheeler version. The only problem, because I did a video on it, is the Wheeler is a lot bigger because of the telescoping handle. But the absolute smallest that still fits everything, Tech Pack MC. Jason is God's gift to ice machines. I don't know him either. I'm sorry. Just got into the commercial HVAC field. Every time I think I have it figured out, I get humbled. You're not alone, man. 20 years later, 19 years later, whatever it is now. I still scratch my head sometimes. You screw up. Again, as long as you don't make the same mistake again, you're good. Let's see. You get humbled and you love it. That's awesome. What was that new roller you had on a video? You had a video on roller. The only roller I have in the van is the Tech Pack MC Wheeler. I don't think I have anything else that has wheels. Climbing a roof, yeah, it sucks, right? But I wouldn't trade it. I always tell people, I always tell people that you know, that's the hardest part. But I would rather be on a rooftop than in an attic, or I'd rather be on a rooftop than behind a desk because I still got to do the business side. Yeah, Mike, it's that one. Tech Pack MC Wheeler. Roofs are killer without a backpack. Been using your rope. Yeah, we use that it's already a braided rope technically, but we braid it afterwards to give it extra strength. That's something my brother showed me, and I'm glad that people enjoy that little tip. It's basically making the rope stronger, and it gives you more grip, so you don't get like rope burn and stuff. You know, trying to pull that thing up, and it doesn't hurt. My brother doesn't even remember how to do it. He just showed me one time, and I had to deconstruct it and figure it out. I'm like, oh, okay, this is how he did it, and now I do it for every rope that I have, or the ones that I use to pull up, heavy equipment, and it worked great for compressors. Even though I wouldn't, openly recommend you pulling up a compressor by yourself, but that made pulling up compressors so much easier because I was always afraid on the when it was just a regular rope, it would snap. I would be scared of that. But yeah, I'm glad that guys get use out of that tip, and that's really cool because I don't really carry anything anymore. I try to rope everything up now, and if you have the hook on it, you just go fishing, right? You fish for your stuff, you drop it down. No more up and down the ladder. It's just, it's super easy, super simple, super easy. It makes working so much more enjoyable when you can cut out all the heavy lifting or back and forth, all that stuff. I've had rope burn plenty of times. Yeah, nice, Jason. Does Vito do any promotions for Black Friday? Not that I know of. The only promotion they'll do is for spring, which is basically like a buy one, get one free. So always recommend that you wait till spring. Unless you really need it right now. Because typically if you buy any high-end items, right, like a backpack, a wheeler, a lot of their medium-sized bags, you're going to get something pretty cool for free. So I don't know if they do any discounts. Dude. Later, Rudy. TP double XL is a good one too. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to look at the chat really quick. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Yeah. New HVAC tech up in Houston. That's awesome, man. Learn as much as you can. I just try to share my experience and some cool tools. That's kind of my thing, right? All the other super technical channels, I appreciate what they do. Ty Brenneman, and they're on my homepage. If you go to my YouTube channel, check out my homepage. I have some recommendations, right? Ty Brenneman, AC Service Tech, HVAC School, you're set. Oh, I missed this one. What's the best brand of press fittings? I usually cut them out when I come across them on units that have leaks. You don't know what brand those that leaked are? I would love I would love some stats or information on if you guys see a leak on a press fitting. Which one is it? You can kind of tell, like if you have a picture or, because you can kind of tell by looking at it which one they are. They all look very different. RLS is soft copper, so you can, as long as you do it right, because you got to make sure that the pipe, because it has a depth gauge, you're supposed to mark it where it needs to go. As long as the copper goes past their O-ring, it should press fine. And you got to give it some space, right? That's soft copper, so it completely bonds and seals. I haven't had any issues, and that's why I skipped over zoom lock because it's a different kind of press. It's a 6-point press. And then Nipco is a complete circular press, and they have some different things in there. So I'm interested to see how that works. But for right now, I'm going to say RLS and maybe Nipco are the ones that I would go with. Dude, oh man, they're gonna be on ESPN, right? I think they made a comeback. I love that show. Charles Barkley. I'm not from San Antonio. I can't tell you. Still rocking the MB5B. I'm with Jake. The MPMX is my go-to right now. I shoved probes and a meter and everything I would ever need to in that little bag or tool pouch. And my main bag is the SPMC, but I use the tool pouch more, the MPMX. I just think it's for like quick checks, little change on or little contactor change outs, capacitors, like that thing is perfect. What is up? Thanks for the super chat, man. Well, he's gone. Virginia trip was awesome. I loved it out there. It was super beautiful. Oh, that's nice, Mike. Hardly no ladders. I'm gonna send all the apprentices up to the rooftop. I'm trying to get away from rooftops as well. But it was beautiful out there. We went out, had a get together dinner with the other people that went out there. So I was the only HVAC tech there. Lady plumber, George the plumber, a lot of plumbers. Mechanical hub was there. And it was really cool just to talk to them about, work and different things, and just being able to walk the facility and see them melting down the copper, making the rods, the machines that made the fittings, the different sizes. They had a lot of crazy stuff. So it was really cool. I will share some footage when I get a chance. I have to talk to them because I want to do something a little bit different to be able to do like a cool video for it. So I geek out about that kind of stuff. So like how things are made, all the machinery, why they do things a certain way, like all that was cool. The city, I didn't really get to see much of it. They kind of had us in there. We did drive from like the hotel to the facility, and it looked nice out there. Like it wasn't like a small town, but it had small town vibes, right? Super cool, super nice, super beautiful. Would love to go out there again. And oh, they do in Virginia. Yeah, there was people that were asking me about the trip because they were like, "Oh, this is here, this is there." Some guys are from there. I had no time. That was the crazy part. The same thing with the Milwaukee trip. And I said in the video, which kind of didn't do well, but I did a Milwaukee video explaining how that stuff works. And you can say what you want about like influencers. I mean, I don't like that word either, but they made us work for those trips. Like you get there and it's like, you need to go do this. You need to go do that. You're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be there. And you don't get any sleep because we need you to go do this. So I was tired, but it was a really cool trip. Super nice people. I would love to kind of showcase a few of the things that they have going on. Like I said, I'll have more content coming soon. I would love to test their press. I do have the fittings. I do have the tool and the fittings, but I just don't have a job that's lined up with it yet. We have a lot of maintenance and repairs right now, but nothing as far as like change outs. Yep, the Wheeler backpack. I like that the new ones, I don't know which one you have, you can remove the backpack straps. That should have been done from the beginning, but because you saw people like Zach, Quality HVAC, just cutting his off, right? Because he liked the bag, he just didn't like the backpack. So I'm glad that they made it removable and you can have options now because, yeah, it's convenient to have both. And I just don't want to carry anything, so I just wheel it everywhere. Let's see. Question: I have a call tomorrow about a customer wanting their EVAP fans to run constantly in their beer cooler. As you know, most beer coolers set up with electric defrost. Hmm. Oh yeah, walk-in freezer setup. Um, what's the best way to address it? Man, I worked on one of those recently, but that one was a pain in the ass. But they were having issues with the fans. Pull the red wire. Yeah, you can. I don't like if you're asking how to do it. It just depends. Like Mike says, you can pull a wire and usually get that going. Um, I just recently did that with a EcoNet electronic board. So we took out the low speed basically by kind of doing the same thing. You just pull the wire. Um, yeah, because I mean, there as far as like if you're asking about like just doing it in general, there's no issue. If it's a walk-in cooler, you're fine. But yeah, if that's what they want, I mean, you can do it. We have those customers too that are like, yeah, the just make sure it's running right, humidity levels. But what was I gonna say? We've had those customers that complain about the fans because they go into low speed, um, or they turn off, like you said. And if it's a nuisance, we do rewire them. And I've had no issues. Now, if it's a freezer, that's a whole different story because you're going to have heat from the electric heat. So you can't do that. But I've done it so many times. You just have to rewire it. Usually it's just pulling a wire. Look at your schematic or trace your wires and you'll be good to go. But I've done it. I've done it plenty of times where it's a nuisance or the customer has an issue with it. Well, yeah, if it has electric heat, you cannot do this. Oh yeah, well yeah, they're different. They're all different. Yeah, well, just real quick, if it has electric heat, you're gonna get a lot of condensation and moisture. High speed all the time. It should run all the time, but not in defrost. Electronic controllers sometimes have a setting for fans off when the system is satisfied. For coolers, I don't think I've seen much of this. I've seen the low speed thing, which customers still don't like. Um, it should run all the time. Yeah. Follett. Oh, Sam, you're late to the party. You guys can fill them in. We're going to close the show out. Appreciate you stopping by, Sam. It was a good one. You'll have to watch it back. um, oh, you got a problem with getting warranty parts? See, the thing with me is my customers like to buy their own stuff, so they got to deal with that. If there's a warranty thing or they got to get parts, I was like, hey, you wanted to buy your own stuff? You need this, this, and this. Let me know when it comes in. But yeah, I'm gonna close out the show. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. That was a good one. We had a little different conversation today in the chat, and yeah, getting tech support in a timely manner is a whole other thing. I've had tech support that just can't help me, and I'm like, I got to figure it out myself. I just got to take the day and take the time to figure something out, because sometimes tech support just can't come through, and it's nothing on them, or not everything's on them. It's just going to be hard for them if you have like intermittent issues or something really dumb. So just take the time. You might take a day, but you'll get it. Yeah, I got to call at 8 a.m. to get an answer within the hour. Like I said, interesting topic today. Oh, you were here. All right, Sam. But again, I don't. It's cool. I know some of you guys were getting into it in the chat. I have no issue if I need to explain things. You know, we had a pretty good conversation. Like I said, I appreciate everybody for coming out. I appreciate Ambro Controls for sponsoring the next series of live streams, and we're going to do some brazing videos. Do you know? Yes, Seaton HVAC. He was in here earlier. I'm sure you know a lot of these people, Sam, because you're on YouTube. I mean, I've heard of him. I've seen him. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I have some brazing videos coming up very soon. A lot of footage that I need to go through. Hopefully I didn't lose too many clips. And well, Freon sums it up right there. But thanks again, guys. Hope you guys have a good work week. Stay safe, stay hydrated, take your time on the calls. You know, don't rush through things. And oh, really? Interesting. Oh, he blocks everybody. But I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you have a good week, and we'll see you guys on Thursday, and I'll see you again next week. Later, guys. I mean, do I have an outro? Oh my God. Later, guys.